dance when it's time to begin. It's on the Rewind-A-Raw with John Pollock and Wai Ting. The A-Team that makes sense of these things we see in the ring every week on TV. It's Rewind-A-Raw for Monday night. Download it Tuesday morning from the Post Wrestling site. It's Rewind-A-Raw for Monday night on USA Now on the John and Wai Take the mic.
Hello, hello. It's John Pollock and Wai Ting on YouTube.
Yeah, welcome YouTube, welcome all our free feed listeners, which I should say good morning really to most of you, because we kind of, at least I put these out in the morning on the free feed. The Café people just get it like late in the night, in the evening, as soon as we're done. So,
Wai has his method. Yeah, good morning, good afternoon,
you want to
good
be
night.
at the top of people's feeds, I suppose, like when they're waking up, you know.
You do your thing. You lead, I follow. That's how this relationship works. Well, folks, we are coming off a very busy weekend and a busy week ahead. We have Danhausen on Saturday night's main event. We are going to do Saturday night's main event, correct?
We are, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we are committed, yeah. No, we haven't thrown in the towel just yet, no.
It's close. Saturday night's main event, it's an event-by-event decision for us. I want to see what this Sunday night's main event follow-up is. I truly believe they're only putting fuel into this card because of the venue it's in. I think if this were in Omaha, Nebraska, we're not getting Jalen Brunson. We're not getting Roman Reigns. Probably not even getting Punk and Cody together.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey. We'll see for the next one.
Do want to alert everyone that over the weekend, it was busy here at Post Wrestling. We've got Collision Course up with Kate from Montreal and John Kleinchester reviewing what I thought was a really enjoyable edition of Collision. It probably got lost among all the different things going on, but a really solid 2-hour show highlighted by Wai's match of the weekend between Mark Davis and Speedball Mike Bailey. Amazing TV match. Amazing match, period, regardless of a TV pay-per-view. We also had a UFC 329 review with yours truly and Eric Marcotte. And Wai and I also discussed the 69 seconds of hell that fans were forced to consume on Saturday. Well, not forced. They willingly participated. But yes, the injury to Conor McGregor, a very disappointing end to the pay-per-view. And what is the future of Conor McGregor? All that discussed and more. Plus, we had the kickoff of the G1 Climax, our first of many G1 podcasts, is up now on the free feed, hosted by Bruce Lord and Karen Peterson, going through night number 1, which was headlined by Yota Tsuji and Konosuke Takeshita. And the G1 podcasts continue throughout the tournament at postwrestlingcafe.com. The next show will drop this Sunday with myself and Karen Peterson reviewing nights number 2 and 3. So you jump on board this week, you will get all coverage of the G1, plus the double shot is in full effect. Last week, we dropped our season premiere of the double shot, covering parts 1 and 2 of Jeff Jarrett and the battle for TNA. This week, we will review part 3 as we get into the fun Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff era.
Oh yeah, this will be the one, you know, that I'm sure will spark quite a bit of conversation. But John and I spent pretty much 2 hours talking about like the first 2 episodes, because I think all throughout TNA's history there are a lot of thoughts to be
I
had,
think
so.
I could spend an easy 10 hours talking about TNA off the top of my head.
It's a topic that like I think is full of again, interesting figures that we've not exhausted yet, like we have many others in wrestling history. So I'm looking forward to watching this 3rd episode and talking about it with you on, I guess we'd be releasing this on Wednesday. Yeah.
And that's not all this week. Rewind-A-Wai, we're going to be going back to April of 2005 for WrestleMania 21. This was our latest pick from our Espresso executive producer, and we will be reviewing that show from the Staples Center in Los Angeles, which features the crowning of both Dave Bautista and John Cena, Kurt Angle's famous match with Shawn Michaels, and Aki Bono versus Big Show. Why this happened? I will be asking Wai that question as we review WrestleMania 21 from 21 years ago.
Oh, wait. Wow. Perfect.
Yes. Yeah. The halfway mark of WrestleManias.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So all that and more coming up this week. And as we mentioned, we will be live Saturday night after Saturday night's main event.
Yeah. I guess time TBD, but yeah, most likely.
Sometimes
after
Saturday night. Yep. Whenever. So looking forward to that. Tonight we are heading off to, or this morning for those listening, The American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. Last number from WrestleTix, 11,137. They were here earlier this year on February 13th for SmackDown, doing 11,107. So a difference of 30. So pretty much, no diminishment here in the Dallas market for WWE's return, and quite a quick turnaround going from February to July. They were also going up against the Home Run Derby tonight, so that might play into things. And to combat the Home Run Derby, out comes Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, and you knew this was coming the second that this stupid catchphrase came out of his mouth. Brock's new t-shirt, talk shit, get hit. If I saw somebody out in the wild wearing this shirt, I'm sorry, I would just laugh uproariously at you.
How about somebody in Saskatchewan?
Oh my God. Could you imagine just going into the corner store and seeing this guy, and with the sleeves cut off too? Talk shit, get hit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it comes out.
I think you're really lacking, in your wardrobe, your big bold font catchphrases.
Yeah. I have a whole drawer set aside for Braun Breaker dog merchandise.
Got it. Right.
That's all I would wear. Heyman introduces the champion of the cage and the beast of the Brocktagon. How in God's name has it taken that long for them to latch onto Brocktagon? Like, it seems something that just would have been like something that somebody would have been hitting us over the head with all these years and years. And here we are in 2026, guys about to retire. And it's like, hey, Brocktagon.
Maybe he was saving it.
Yeah. Imagine they get a cease and desist from the UFC side. It's like, yeah, you can't use that. They are surrounded by the Dallas Police Department, which are booed when Heyman mentions them, and says that Oba turned down a guaranteed title match to face Lesnar. I think this was our most definitive news, that Oba, to all the haters that came after John Pollock, okay? I want an apology pronto, okay? All those people that were, that didn't mean he's not gonna go for the title. He could just go for it another time. He's just taking care of business. He's tying up loose ends. Title match is gone, folks. He decided, and he has a reason for it too. Sound logic. Logic.
Sure. So sound. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because Brock would have interfered in the match. Why this was not a deterrent to Oba in round 1, 2, or the finals? Guy flew to Saudi Arabia knowing, oh man, I hope I don't win this because I'm in a no-win situation. I'm going to get this title match. Not even going to roll the dice. Can't do it. He has to murder Brock to get this title match. Brock cannot be on this earth.
If there was a time to, be concrete about this, the fact that Oba has given up his title shot and that he's not delaying it, I feel the time would have been last week, which would have been his first appearance since actually making the move. But for whatever reason, maybe they thought that they were clear enough, and last week people told him, hey, you're not really clear. This week they chose in this promo to be absolutely clear. He has given up his title shot. He's not going to be getting it later. He has given it up. Heyman repeated this multiple times. They had some explanation for it. I think it's still some of the dumbest booking.
Oh, dude, it was like they were right about to go out, and Oba's thinking, "Hey, should I have a reason I'm giving up this golden opportunity? Because you knew Brock would interfere." Yeah,
like knowing maybe what you had heard previous to even the King of the Ring, it just baffles me that they would do this to the King of the Ring stipulation or the King of the Ring just concept. I think it completely neuters it, and makes it feel so meaningless.
Like, either don't put Oba in the tournament or write him out of the tournament somehow and just let Seth win it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway. Mm-hmm.
They did it this way. So then Heyman talks about Oba being stalker level for giving up this title match to go after Brock. He's a clinger and he's a big dummy. You're like a psycho ex-girlfriend coming after Brock Lesnar. Now, I'm going to admit that I sometimes am too much in the weeds here, but just talking about this with Brock Lesnar of all people and trying to equate to a psycho ex-girlfriend, am I going out on too much of a limb to put all these things together?
I don't think you are. I personally didn't feel it in this line. It was more the last line.
When it came up after? Yeah. He said that Brock is obsessed with getting Oba in Hell in a Cell, and therefore Heyman got a no-touch clause from WWE and a restraining order against Oba Femi, who cannot come within 100 feet, and also got a restraining order on his own client, which prompts Brock to look weird at Heyman, and Lesnar explaining that Heyman explaining that he knows his friend here, Brock, is a law-abiding citizen.
Yeah, that was the line that certainly.
The totality of it for me was again, listen, I'm in the weeds on this stuff. I don't know if the average person would have thought of this, but it was hard for me not to untangle and from the same company that did the whole texting thing with the Judgment Day, and that was something that this is not terrain they have not stepped on before.
Yeah, the average to answer maybe what you're suggesting, the average person would not. They would not probably, think twice about what was.
But if you thought it, I don't feel I'm crazy.
No, it's more so the idea that for months it felt like this person they wouldn't even mention. Right, Brock Lesnar. He was sort of in that territory because I think they were so afraid of whatever, I don't know, online backlash, perhaps, whatever. There's it was kind of taboo to even mention him. To go from that to now being willing to even enter this sort of territory of discussion in a pro wrestling promo about Brock Lesnar, to me at least suggests they don't have any sort of hang up about really anything.
It's just there's so much verbiage you could have used to drive home the same point, and going to stalker level, a psycho ex-girlfriend coming after Brock. It was just I don't know. You would have to be I cannot fathom how you're saying that, and no one's clicking of where this naturally leads people, especially the people involved here. So Oba arrives, and the police block Brock, and Oba says he came for a fight tonight, and so Oba destroys the fake police department that we would learn, and he asks, "Where's the beast? You used to run this place, now you just run." And Oba defends giving up his title shot because Lesnar would have cost him the title anyway. But you cannot run at Hell in a Cell. And that's how this ended.
Again, if there was a time to offer an explanation, it would have been the first week when he gave up the thing in the first place. To do it like this in this fashion now so casually, again, just kind of makes it feel like they're filling a plot hole that they didn't realize they had created.
Clearly they thought that enough people were not sure and were going to be wanting to see this title match as soon as SummerSlam's over. That's the next step for Oba, and it's no, that's a many month long path for us to build Oba on, and we are not going to the title match at the next pay-per-view or Survivor Series.
So let's say he beats Brock at Hell in a Cell. Why wouldn't he still be worried about Brock stopping him when he challenges for the championship?
Well, maybe this is it for Brock. Maybe that's it.
Well, we don't have a retirement stipulation attached to this.
Again, I don't think you can. I don't think you can do the retirement stipulation based off what they did.
Why not?
Because no one's going to buy it. You just did it and violated it in record time.
Well, they weren't promoting that match as a retirement.
Well, why would this one be? He's technically in storyline still retired.
You're right.
Remember? He's retired.
I think all of it is really silly.
This has been an awful Oba has done tremendously well, but when you the purpose of that retirement stipulation, absolutely non-logical. Yeah. Oba winning the King of the Ring, totally non-logical. Yeah. There's just been some absolutely stupid booking for this program that should be so simple.
Brock retired in storyline here. Brock retired just to set up a sneak attack from behind, which he would have been able to get by with anyway. It does make you wonder, I don't know, was there more at play there? Was he actually considering retirement? And then I don't know.
I don't think so at all.
Yeah, because you heard about all of this being the plan.
This was always going to be a multi-match program with this ending in Hell in a Cell.
It's just so in totality though, I do think Oba Femi is just, he's impressed through all this, on a stage, either with Brock Lesnar or Paul Heyman. He feels like he's getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And I think, like, no matter how stupid the booking is and how, like, dumb the King of the Ring decision is, I don't think that takes anything away from him. I think audiences still really want to see him, like, be champion. Reigns versus Oba is still a heavily anticipated match. But I gotta say, even like this segment, I'm kind of pretty tired now of this, like, talking between the three of them, really the two of them, for this feud. Like, none of it at this point feels very novel or fresh, including all this stuff like beating up the cops. Like, it feels so paint by numbers Steve Austin, like, that we've seen with any sort of, like, babyface in this sort of, like, role. I'm getting a little bit bored of it. It feels like they're trying to fill time now. But that's it. The crowd's live, at least, like, still.
They're so into Oba, like his aura and charisma, like, compensate for a ton. Like, he's a superstar to these audiences, and it gives them a lot of leeway. So I don't think Brock's on next week. He's on in 2 weeks' time. So that's the go home Raw before SummerSlam.
Great. I wonder what he's going to do. Like, is it going to be anything meaningful?
Have they signed the contract?
Oh, that's right. Yes, of course. Yeah.
Michael Cole then announced that over the next few weeks, we are going to have a multi-part series documenting Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, beginning with Chapter 1. It's like, okay, we're going to give, like, some, big, like, 24/7 type of feel for this match. Chapter 1, The Shield. And we get voiceovers from Roman and Rollins, heavily in their promo voices, over 30 seconds of Shield B-roll. And that was Chapter 1. I was like, was this a teaser for, like, the real piece that will air later? And no, we get Chapter 2, which is just as dismal as these were awful. These were awful. Like, they made it seem like we've launched a documentary series for this big match, and it's like it's a 30-second highlight of just various things in their career. These were so nothing.
There was no difference between this and, like, your
typical video package. Nothing.
Yeah.
Well. Oh, I was like, you could have just thrown this without giving any kind of tee up or promoting this. I thought these were so dismal.
Support for this podcast comes from NordVPN. There is a lot of wrestling happening every week, and if you're a completist like we are at Post, then you probably know how expensive it can be juggling multiple streaming services just to keep up. In some parts of the world, things are set up pretty well. Regions where WWE lives on a single paid streaming service, others where AEW fans can get their weekly shows and pay-per-views bundled under one subscription. But when those fans travel abroad, they lose access to those fully featured versions of those services that they rely on at home. And that's where NordVPN comes in. No matter where you are, you can open the app on your phone, laptop, or Apple TV, connect to a server of your country's location, sign into your existing accounts, and keep up with your wrestling the way you do at home. John and I have been using Nord for over 3 years now, and it's become one of the most reliable, must-have tools in our wrestling consumption. It'll probably be for you as well. You can grab an exclusive NordVPN deal by going to our custom link, nordvpn.com/postwrestling. You'll get a big discount on any 2-year plan, plus 4 additional months on top. As always, it is completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. That's nordvpn.com/postwrestling. You can find all the information in the episode notes. Get your exclusive deal and let them know you found them through us.
IYO SKY and Roxanne Perez. Were we aware this was the trilogy, the rubber match between these two? They are 1-1 in past singles matches. Liv and Raquel are in the corner. IYO scoop slams her onto the edge, hits a Asai moonsault, and then Morgan gets involved, grabbing the leg, and Perez takes over, attacking the injured leg of IYO. Then Perez goes for a cabrata, knees get up, and IYO hits the missile drop kick, bullet train attack misses, and then Perez goes after the knee. It's reversed into a crossface, rolls out, big knee strike by IYO, and then as she's dealing with Morgan and Raquel on the apron, there's an O'Connor roll by Perez that IYO reverses, covering Perez in 10 minutes and 34 seconds, but the Judgment Day are not done. Perez chop blocks the injured knee, they attack her, and out comes Sol Ruca, clearing the ring, but then leaps off, is caught by Raquel, who swings her into the barricade, nails her into the post, and then IYO turns around and is caught by Oblivion, and they beat her down. Big belt shot by Liv Morgan as she says, "This is the closest you'll ever get to my title."
Mm-hmm. I thought the match was quite strong. I think, like, to me, it's very clear Roxanne is the best wrestler of the three in the Judgment Day, and I think her chemistry with EO is actually very great. So I certainly could have used more of this on a bigger stage at some point in the future with these two. I thought the post match angle was all right. It reignites Soul versus Raquel as I suppose a follow-up program here because of the way that she was taken out, and opens the door for a third to join the baby faces to oppose the Judgment Day.
The Vision come out again without Paul Heyman, but with the Vision Queen Maxine.
That's right. Yeah, she's in her heel getup now.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, which just means less clothing.
Like leather, like when Liz joined the NWO, you have to dress in all black because you're a bad guy.
In the NWO with Scott Steiner.
That's right. Yeah. And who's Austin Theory? Dennis Rodman, I guess, would be Logan Paul.
Is he Dennis Rodman?
I don't know.
I was gonna go with Austin Theory as who would you say
I don't
Buff?
Horace.
Let's go with Horace.
Yeah.
They are joined by Otis and Akira Tozawa. Akira Tozawa got the best promo of his career. This man, horrible actor, but perfect for pro wrestling. It's Maxine, how could you do this? You're such a wonderful human being. This guy is wrong for you. And Maxine explains that she still loves Otis and Tozawa. The crowd's chanting, "You sold out," but you guys made me pick. You said I couldn't be with you if I'm with Austin. And so Otis, he grabs the mic, and this crowd, they are so behind Otis. And this guy just stammers. He's all nervous. It's I've known you a long time. And he's just tripping over his own words. And Theory starts laughing and making fun of him and explains, "What, do you think that someone like Maxine would end up like someone like you? You're fat." And so Otis attacks, but Breaker joins in, and Breaker, oh my God, he just launched Akira Tozawa over the desk. They stomp Otis, but Otis fires up, and he ends up clearing out Theory and Breaker, hits them with avalanches into the corner. And then Maxine grabs Otis, and she's about to kiss him, but it's all a deception for Austin Theory to low blow Otis, and Maxine just laughs at Otis as Michael Cole calls her that witch. And Breaker spears Tozawa. Maxine hands over the brass knuckles. They nail Otis, and then we get the craziest torpedo spear where Braun spears Otis, and this is so much force that it knocks Austin Theory over, who is at the side holding up Otis. And
was that not part of the move? Was he not going for a Russian leg sweep or something?
Well, he just fell on his ass taking this. And Michael Cole ends it by saying, "I have lost so much respect for that woman."
Okay. Yes.
Michael Cole was so dramatic here, but I don't know. I enjoyed this. I thought Otis and Tozawa were so comically amusing here. I almost feel like this is SummerSlam free hour on ESPN material.
Okay, yeah, for sure. I definitely see. Well, it has to be SummerSlam at this point, right?
I guess so.
They're not Saturday night's main event. If you watch your WWE for this sort of soap opera stuff, I think you would have been pretty satisfied, and I do from for at least a part of my enjoyment of the show. I do think it would have hit a lot harder in hindsight if they did more to hint towards the Otis Maxine sort of romantic relationship,
this
in the
was never
leading
a
up to this.
It's they pretended she was Mandy Rose tonight.
Yeah, for years now, the relationship has mainly felt like this sort of I don't know, intentionally ambiguous, cross between colleague and friend. And of course you could buy that maybe at some point, he was going to confess his feelings. But I think if they knew that this turn was coming and this segment was coming, I think if they ramped it up and had her,
they should have been doing this for weeks. It was that was the whole thing about watching her start to have interest in Austin Theory, and he's torn, and you could do these segments with Tozawa. We don't even have to theorize this. This was all that lead up stuff with Mandy Rose, and people got into that. Whatever you thought about that, they really got into that at the time. And this, you're right. Like they never hinted at this in any way, and they just expected this to be like the crux of this segment. And it's like, it was a fine idea, but all of that requires like the whole history of this. So like you're rooting for Otis.
Yeah, so to me, like the weight of it wasn't necessarily maximized. Like it felt like a very standard heel type of turn, which is good. Like it worked. The crowd was really strong here. But I'll also say the thing that stands out for me in all of this is just how forgotten Braun Breaker feels in all of this. Like worse than forgotten. Like they had Otis here be able to like take out both Heat and Theory by himself at one point, which I don't think they would have ever booked Braun like that half a year ago when he felt like, you know, like he was like about
this guy was in the championship picture, and we're looking at this guy being opposite like Akira Tozawa at SummerSlam.
So this feud certainly has been great for Maxine. It's been great for Austin Theory. Like somehow like he finds himself in like he feels like the leader of the Vision at this point.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's been terrible for Braun Breaker, who again, like falling from the main title program to now possibly not having Paul Heyman and now feuding with the Alpha Academy. It feels like a massive drop for him.
It's just not his turn. I don't think this is like curtains for, you know, his run, but he's clearly on the back burner at the moment until they're ready for, you know, heating him up for something. Like it's a tough position for him. He sort of just feels like, you know, alternate guy in the Vision at the moment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Why don't they give him a girlfriend? I guess she's in NXT.
Yeah, she hasn't been called up yet.
Okay.
So we come back from break. All of a sudden, SmackDown's Royce Keys is in the middle of a match with Jimmy Uso.
Yeah. This was
how?
A bit strange.
Why?
Well, I mean, it's, you know, you got to give something to those Netflix live viewers.
You can't just plop me into the middle of a Jimmy Uso match and not give me fair warning, okay? So
this was somewhat unusual, and I would say unfortunate in the case of Royce Keys, who is making his Raw debut. And
they do mention that this is his Raw debut.
I recognize, like, yeah, like they probably.
Why is he here? Why is he in his gear? Don't worry.
Who is he? Because I don't doubt that there are plenty of people who only watch Raw and don't make time for the show on Fridays who may have heard of Royce Keys, but like
I'm a cord cutter. I don't have cable.
At the very least, it begs for a walkout where they can give the background to this guy. Instead, we're joining the match in progress, and he's already struggling to get reaction on SmackDown. Now, I don't think this did him any favors.
So there's a Samoan drop to Keys on the desk. We go through a commercial break, just in case you were getting into any of this. Jacob Fatu arrives in the back, and we get a split screen of Jacob Fatu doing a run-in, starting from his car and ending in the ring.
These parking spots are very convenient for
how much screen time did these two get between the joined in progress, a commercial break, and then a split screen
for Jacob WCW? Like, you know, this doesn't matter. Let's go to the back to check out what the NWO is doing in their dressing room. Yeah.
Goddamn cruiserweight division here. So as Keys hits a sky high, Fatu attacks for the DQ at 7:41, and Jacob yells, "I tried to tell him. I didn't want to do it." And he gets a chair. Ugh. Jacob Fatu, we talk about Braun Breaker. Jacob Fatu, I don't know. They've cooled him off to a degree as well. Like, where were Braun Breaker and Jacob Fatu 6 months ago, and where are they now?
I guess it's not their time.
It's not their time. Wait a couple years. We've got Phil. Solo Sikoa then comes out and tells Fatu to stop. And Solo says, "I understand now. I was lost, and I left the family. And blood is thicker than water. And I'm coming home to the family." And he puts the one in the air. Jimmy just jumps up to his feet. He doesn't think that anything is awry here. And they put their ones up, and Solo turns his into a thumb. And he Samoan spikes his brother. And that leads to an attack on Fatu. Keys gets up to help. And then we get the super kick to Keys, a Tongan death grip on Solo. So LA Knight appears with a chair, using it Fatu. Fatu's yelling, "Come on, bitch." And Knight proposes a 6-man tag at SummerSlam. So kind of just skipped of LA Knight and Solo. Like, LA Knight would not trust this guy, but this was enough. He's like, okay, he's with him. So we'll team.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
I hope Solo, bell rings, nails LA Knight. They just ambush the guy. That would be awesome. That would just be great.
So like when they started building all of this, I was wondering, okay, like where exactly is this headed? Because War Games is still so far away. It feels like they're like ramping up the, trying to build some sort of faction to oppose the Bloodline. I also felt like that would have been a tremendous challenge because there's nobody that would be able to match the star power of a Roman Reigns, especially if like it's a group being led by LA Knight. This certainly feels more appropriate for like a SummerSlam undercard and a trios match. It honestly though feels more like a TV match to me, if I'm honest. But they have put in a good amount of like build to it.
Two nights of SummerSlam.
That's right. Yeah.
So you need like 14 matches.
I can't really say though, like I buy the stakes involved here. Like, I don't know how Knight feels like he can end the Bloodline with a match where Roman isn't even involved, So
can you see a scenario where Solo and or Royce do end up in the Bloodline? Or do you think like this is a better direction for them, especially Solo, who's kind of just been lost, that a babyface run is better for him now?
Yeah, Royce certainly no. I think like they only reserve that for actual blood related members and also Sami Zayn. With Solo, I think like he's onto something with this babyface run. I think crowds are really gravitating towards him. I thought tonight, like with the whole one into the thumb thing, worked really well. And I think like this fresh Solo, who's actually Solo now as a babyface, I think is actually quite interesting. It feels also a lot more fitting with his current personality versus, the enforcer that he used to be.
The Vision are laughing about earlier, and Heyman applauds them and says that he is ecstatic and praises all of them, telling Logan Paul, "You're healing faster than Conor McGregor." And says, "Maxine was so magnificent tonight. What the hell do you need me for?" And Heyman just walks off.
Yeah. So it certainly feels like an exit, but they are maybe leaving it unconfirmed. It's also quite the way to like bury the group, like after they, had like ended the segment clean. Like this was not just Heyman saying, "Hey, like parting of ways mutually." Like this was Heyman still dumping the group.
Yeah, and or this is all just leading to some big reunion post SummerSlam.
Yeah, that's true.
They could go that direction.
Yeah.
It's a video promoting Hell in a Cell, and then Adam Pearce is on the phone. He's got to be somewhere. Who cares? Obafemi comes in, and they have to.
Where the hell is the somewhere? Like SmackDown?
He said, "If you need me, I'll be there."
Okay.
Maybe he's got to go do WrestleMania promotion in Saudi Arabia.
Maybe. Mm-hmm.
Oba comes in for the sole purpose of informing us that it was a phony restraining order and phony police officers.
Right.
Was this only to explain why this man was not arrested?
Yeah, I would think so.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Then we go to the segment. Bayley's in the ring. And she calls out the crack addict, Lyra Valkyria. This character is growing on me at a fast pace. I love this. It's just so ridiculous. This crazy Lyra Valkyria strung out on meth.
She looks like now she looks like so people call her Bird Lady. Now she actually looks like Bird Lady from Home Alone 2.
She is Home Alone 2 lady. So Lyra says Bayley is the one who should be apologizing for holding her back for a year. You always play the victim, Bayley. I've been stabbed in the back too, but I don't make it my personality. She says everything I said about you to make you feel good was a lie. It's like, damn, everything? She says, you're not a locker room leader. You're a doormat. You don't belong on the posters. You drag everyone down around you. It's like, holy Christ, man. The diss track here. And you're the worst of the 4 horsewomen. It's like, you bitch. And Bayley says, Lyra, you're not as special as you think. I'm the first Grand Slam champion. I won a Royal Rumble. I was the first women's tag champion. I won it all by myself. And she says, I'm going to beat your ass at Saturday night's main event. and Lyra goes to attack her. Bayley strikes her. They fight and ends with Lyra hitting a Bayley to belly. So yes, we have this showdown happening on Saturday.
You know, you got to give a lot of credit to somebody for trying.
Dude, she's all in. Okay, that's all I ask for. Is when you're handed lemons, just try your best. Okay,
this is a drastic character change. So,
I love
it. Know? And again, like I can't imagine how nervous she must have been. Like this is not a trained actor. You know, this is like somebody who I think was hired because of her very impressive in-ring ability. But when you're taking a swing as big as this, I mean, it's certainly sink or swim in front of a wide audience, and I admire that courage. I did, like, I get the sense, John, you enjoyed it from almost a sort of like ironic way.
Ironic,
okay, but like I thought like this was like bad open mic night, you know, material from I don't know, like improv. It to me is the type of character that certainly could have used maybe a bit more development and workshopping and maybe even shelving, honestly.
You know what? You know what I enjoyed the most about this?
Yeah.
It was this disheveled sweater, okay? Because she could have come out in just normal clothes, but instead she got this sweater that's got all these like burn marks in it. There's holes all over it. Just looks like a piece of shit.
Well, what is the backstory here? Like, what? Because like she freaked out because of Bayley. She turned on her, and what? She just hasn't washed her clothes or
okay. This
showered?
is the story. Okay, this is the story we're going to give her. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not even going to ask for like a royalty. This is free. She broke up with Bayley, turned on her, and said, "Hey, Lyra, you were a tag team wrestler. You were contributing to our tag division, and you have made a selfish career move to go back to a singles performer. So that's fine. You can go that direction, but you're going to have to take a 50% pay cut, okay?"
Ooh.
It's like, wait a minute. I haven't even paid off my mortgage yet. I'm going to be homeless. And guys, I have been dealing with an injury for several months, and if I don't get my painkillers, I'm going to be strung out.
Interesting. Okay. I like it.
I think they should really go down this path.
Maybe she accepted the contract renegotiation, and now she just can't. She had to sell her washing machine. She had to she can't afford the water bill anymore, and therefore the look.
Yeah, that's
but I like the fact that we're like somewhat captivated by it. You know, we certainly seem to enjoy the discussion about it, and like you said, John, you commit hard enough to anything and it could work. So I hope to see her do that.
I'll say this, and I'm not being sarcastic here. I'm more interested in her going this direction than the babyface role that she was just playing. That just there wasn't a second gear. Like she's a very good performer, but it was just. I'm not saying this would be my ideal choice for option B, but it's
could be.
Let's see what she does with this. Let's see. Let's keep an open mind. Oh boy, do we have about a half hour here to talk about Chapter 2? This is the breakup. The chair shot delivered by Seth to Roman. Okay, let me see if I can remember this. It was the hardest decision I ever had to make, but it was the best decision I ever made. The end. That was the end of Chapter 2 right there. Man, thoughts?
Well, you know, you always need reminding of how the Shield broke up.
This is a hell of a book. I mean, they should really put this out. Like this is like my kids read this in like the senior kindergarten. Like this is like a really basic book. It's like my first sounds. Chair shot.
Quite the children's book. They have to do this. You know, the problem is that they built
a multi-week, multi-part documentary series.
They built it up maybe a little bit too hard.
A little bit. On to the gauntlet we go to determine Penta's opponent.
Did you not see the Enzo and Cass video?
Oh, are you serious? I totally missed that. I missed it.
They aired a trailer here with Cass, Big Cass in silhouette here, and just footage of crowd signs with the word soft and just all but teasing.
Oh, well, there you go.
No, not showing Enzo at all, so they're somewhat holding that back. Maybe you'll get that next week. But they also indicated the date of August 3rd as.
Okay, so that's the Raw after SummerSlam.
Yeah. Also, you had Cass say, "What happens when the whole world says you can't miss?" And they were wrong. Something to that effect. So, I mean, it seems to tease, a comeback story, acknowledging the fact that they had quite the sort of rise at the beginning, but quite the drop after that. So
now, what are the odds
interested.
they tell the story about the circumstances Cass left the company and omit the circumstances that Enzo left the company?
Yeah, something tells me
I don't imagine even a multi-part, multi-documentary or multi-chapter series will cover that aspect of Enzo's reason.
What do you think this is, the UFC?
Yeah, I mean, Des Moines, Iowa. Sure.
Okay. Yeah, why not?
That's August 3rd. On to the Gauntlet we go with Dirty Dom and Joe Hendry starting things off. Man, Hendry here. He's driven into the steps, and then after a fallaway slam, JD distracts, leading to an Enziguri 619 and frog splash, and Dominic pins Joe Hendry, who is really fallen.
Yeah, honestly, like ever since Logan got injured, this guy's kind of been floundering. He's just really a body there that I just don't see being sort of like Levesque's thing. Like he was, I think, a novelty in NXT, worked for like the Performance Center crowd in a small space. But here, I think he's had moments, that Logan song really did well. But beyond that, I think he's still suffering from like the sort of one dimensionality of the character. And I don't see these writers, or at least like Levesque's sort of writing booking style, being conducive to like prioritizing a Joe Hendry right now.
Is that an indictment on Hendry or an indictment on the surroundings? Because we've seen this guy really get over at TNA. I would argue get over in NXT to a similar degree. And here it's a 180. Like he's just been very flat on the main roster.
I just think they're like more interesting toys for them to play with. And I think he could be one. But even like the NXT championship reign didn't to me exactly like fill him with like interesting depth of character that I could see pan out to that much,
Dominic then takes on Javon Evans, and Evans had quite the performance in this Gauntlet. He knocks JD off the apron, and that leads to a 619. And as Dominic climbs to the top, Danhausen drives out to distract Dominic and fires off Pyro, but it's in the wrong corner. So then Dominic just hops down, and JD chases after Danhausen, and Evans just hits the OG cutter for the win.
Yeah, I don't like what. So I'm supposing this was meant to be like a curse gone wrong, but somehow it still led to Dom winning. But it wasn't maybe as smoothly communicated. If they were going for something.
Why couldn't the right turnbuckle have had the explosion? Like, wouldn't
because that would have been the predictable. They've done that.
So it didn't hit him, but it still cost him the match.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. I was really excited for Saturday after seeing this.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They also didn't like, I mean, I guess they have Friday, but they also didn't build up this sort of surprise, right? Because I mean, I guess I thought that would have been Jalen Brunson, but like that, that's now the Roman Reigns segment. So who else has he got?
Who else can they sign?
Well, the whole thing is about his New York Knicks jersey. So doesn't it make sense for it to be a New York Knicks?
Maybe it's still Brunson. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's someone else.
He can't show up twice.
Sure.
It's got to be Patrick Ewing.
Okay, that's where they go. Him and John Starks show up.
That's right.
Okay. Javon Evans and Dragon Lee, they had the best match of this Gauntlet. Lee comes in to hit a Tope Con Hero, and then Lee runs at Evans, and he takes this insane overhead suplex into the timekeeper's area. The speed at which he ran and got thrown was nuts. And then Evans tries to outdo him by sprinting, leaps over the timekeeper's area and over the ensuing barricade, leaping over them. From there, it's Lee's turn to hit the leaping Rana off the edge. And then the only blemish here was his tornado DDT that Lee went for, but hit it on the second try, near fall. And then as he gets Javon up to set him up for the Styles Clash, it's countered with a roll up and Evans catches him. But really entertaining match that these two had for, they got about, I would say like 6-7 minutes.
Yeah, this Gauntlet match like really, I think, escalated with this pairing here. Certainly best of the bunch so far, but a great showcase for number one Javon, but also for Dragon Lee, who I think like quietly, like I don't know if I see him being a champion even at the IC level, but as a guy who is there to deliver great matches, I think he's been very consistent. Yeah.
That takes us to Javon and Rusev shows up from behind, jumping Evans. and Evans recovers, hits a dive, the red dot, and Rusev gets the accolade applied. And man, was this crowd into Evans. As soon as he was like reaching for the rope, they were cheering him on. They did not want to see Javon get eliminated. And when he got to his feet, he slams out of the accolade. Rusev misses in the corner. OG Cutter is stopped with a forearm smash, puts the accolade on again. And Javon is just, as soon as he shows life, this place is going nuts for him. And he's trying for the rope, but Rusev just uses his arms to smother Evans and he goes out. And it was kind of deflating for this crowd, but they were so into Javon here.
Very much so. This was, I think, like to me, a gauntlet match that I kind of feel Javon gained the most from. You know,
I thought so too.
More so than even the winner. You know, I think like they are certainly taking their time with Javon Evans, and that partially that's because he's so young. They are banking
5 years from now, when he gets that IC title, it's going to mean a lot.
They're waiting for him to, you know, hit his 40s. That's when, you know, they like to push their main eventers. But like they're definitely taking their time, but they're also not ignoring him. They are like building him, at least like in the body of matches like this. And I can certainly see like by WrestleMania, if we're talking about like an IC level title win, this feels like it would be on pace for that sort of crowning achievement.
Paul Heyman said this guy would be a marketable attraction by the end of the summer. And if he's not, you're either not looking at it from the right perspective or we screwed up. And I don't think we're going to screw up, sir.
Does he get on SummerSlam?
Oh, he's got to be on SummerSlam, I would think.
In what capacity? What is he going for?
I don't know. Yeah. Him and Dragon Lee again. I'd be fine with that. Give me 10 minutes of those guys. I say that because it's 2 nights, and I just feel, but not a given. Not a given. Rusev and Chad Gable is next. I still hate this song. Gable hits a bunch of Germans, and then he's hit with a Uranage. They go to the break, big striking battle, and then Rusev stops the angle slam with an eye rake, hits the Machka kick, accolade. Gable escapes out from under him, Germans Rusev into the turnbuckle, and wins with a victory roll to eliminate Rusev. Bringing us to Chad Gable and Ethan Page. So Rusev puts Gable back into the accolade and leaves Gable for dead for Ethan Page, but Page can't get it done. Hits a running boot, can't get the 3 count, hits the confidence breaker, and he's frustrated here as Gable will not stay down. Gable manages the angle slam, and then as Page goes for a power slam off the turnbuckle, it's countered as Gable in midair goes to the ankle lock, drags Ethan to the center, and Ethan has to tap out. In total, this gauntlet went 38 minutes and 23 seconds with Chad Gable winning, and we get the face-off between Penta and Gable. Not that I was disappointed with this. You are going with they were pushing like this is the guy in his hometown going for his first singles title. But man, this place was ready to explode for Javon Evans. It did feel like he was definitely the favorite of the 7 in this.
Yeah, and that to me it was the intent I think of the gauntlet, at least for Evans, you know, to give him like a big enough like spotlight that audiences are thinking about him, even though you're ultimately giving the match to Gable. Like I don't think it's a problem that he's waiting. It's just not his time. It's not his time, you know. It's not a problem that he's waiting at least a little bit longer. If we get to WrestleMania and he doesn't have a prominent role, then I think we have a problem. But for now, like this is Minnesota. Gable is hot right now. He's far more advanced, you know, in his WWE tenure. And he's
40. He just turned 40.
He's 40.
It's that magic number to get your first big singles push.
It's interesting though, like this will be a double babyface match, which is not a problem. But you know, I think their goal is probably just to have like a show stealing match. You know, that's I think what the audience will be looking for.
And I think Gable wins this one.
I think so too.
I think they're going to give him the big, you know, win his singles belt in Minneapolis. His daughter's there in the front row.
Yeah. There's also the whole like, you know, Alpha Academy like versus Vision stuff that I feel like is perfectly set up for him to join, but being busy with this Penta program, I wonder if like that's after SummerSlam.
Cody's going to interview Tom Brady this Thursday. I'm just reading what I wrote. And with 10 minutes to go in the show, Roman Reigns arrives. First, they go through the Saturday night's main event lineup. So
10 minutes to go in the show. Are you sure? Like this?
Well, it was 10:20, but then they did like a 15-minute overrun.
This overrun went to like 10:44. Like this was like 10:45. This was like a 3-hour show.
He still showed up for less than a half hour of work.
Yeah.
So Saturday has Punk and Cody against Gunther and Sami Zayn, Bayley against Meth Head, JD against Danhausen, no DQ with a surprise, Bree and Paige against Fatal Influence, and Jalen Brunson will appear.
That's right.
I feel like Jalen Brunson's going to be like the main event of this show.
Roman and Jalen Brunson, yeah, I think that's likely. I mean, it could be the Cody, Gunther, but even Roman, Jalen Brunson kind of feels like it's bigger for, like, star power.
The contract signing is our final segment, hosted by Adam Pearce. Reigns comes out, that ate about 8 minutes up, followed by Seth. And Seth,
between the final bell of that Gauntlet match and by the time Rollins and Reigns both got into the ring, like there were 20 minutes here.
There was no excuse for an overrun. Chris Park did not need to have a heart palpitation over those 15 minutes. So Rollins immediately signs the contract, and he notes how his song drowns out the OTC chants, and the fans took this as a challenge to start loudly chanting OTC, although they were going back and they were dueling chants. He says there's 3 things in life that are guaranteed: death, taxes, and a really long Seth promo, either at the beginning or the end of a show, because he has Reigns' number every single time except those couple of losses that we're not acknowledging. Reigns, and I swear, makes fun of his promo last week for boring everyone to death and calls Rollins a hater. It's the only thing you're number 1 at. He says, you have confused the people to think that we're on the same level, and I'm going to show the difference between us at SummerSlam. And Reigns signs the contract, and Rollins says, thanks for keeping the title warm for me. I'll see you next time you feel like showing up for work. And Rollins goes to end. I'm like, if this is the end of the goddamn show, holy Christ. And even Reigns, he's like, is that it? I was like, okay, there's more to this. He said, you're just going to sign the contract and run? Let's talk a bit more. It's like, this is what this program needs, more talking. So Reigns asks, what are you going to do if you win it? What's going to happen? You'll carry the title for a few months and get hurt again? It happens every time. Some would say it's self-sabotage. You can't handle the pressure and the burden of being the top guy. So this gains Seth's interest as he returns to the ring. And Reigns starts poking at his bad shoulder. And Reigns is then asked, or told by Seth, just spit it out. Don't hold back. It's like, he's kind of laid out his case, has he not? He called you like you're a little paper.
What else does he need to say?
You're made of glass, basically. Like, what more does he need to add to the case here? Reigns goes on. He says, you're number 2 because you still need a Money in the Bank briefcase to become champion. And you had to fake an injury to use the damn thing. He says, they tried to make you number 1. Even your work daddy is basically running the place. And he said, you couldn't walk in my shoes. You'll always be number 2. So just acknowledge it, bitch.
So what does that mean? Like, what are we talking about here? You can't, like, number 1, you didn't make it as number 1 in what? Like, merchandising, sales, like he's calling him a bad draw and that he can't lead the company as a top draw, right?
Yes,
that's what
but he's invoking Levesque here. So it's like, what would Levesque have in terms of this? Are we getting into?
I guess, like, the booker, or, like, I don't know, like a matchmaker can somehow prioritize opportunities for their athletes, right?
Yeah, I guess.
It's okay. It's a read between the lines type of, like, whatever type of promo.
Is it effective? I think that's another question.
Certain lines I felt were. Yeah, certain lines I felt were.
Well, Seth says, is that all you've got? Tell me how I'm never going to be as big as you or draw as much money. Anything you tell me, I've told myself that for the past 15 years. I've told myself we're not running the same race or fighting the same fight. I'm proud of who I am and what I fight for, and I'm so glad I'm not you. And then Seth just decks him here. Just like,
yeah,
he throws the first shot here.
Yeah, Seth. I thought like the promo made him feel like this sort of like underdog, like who's again doesn't have the advantages of Roman Reigns as I don't know, in terms of charisma, I guess, or like aura or whatever, what have you. But then like he makes the first like cheap shot, which colors him certainly more as a heel. So I didn't feel like that was all that congruent, but I mean, they would probably just tell you like, hey, like they hate each other, and do you buy the hatred by the end?
I just found both. It's not like neither of them to me came across as like the guy you're rooting for in all of this. I would say like, if asked to guess, I would imagine the fans would default to Roman here. Like to me, like the whole promo was laid out to be like, you're not as good as me, and this is why. This is reason number 1, 2, and 3. And Seth just kind of came back and said, yeah, I'm not as good as you in all these.
The promo was laid out, at least like through Rollins, that Roman can never beat Rollins, or at least like that's kind of what he said. Even that has been debated because he's beaten Rollins, but he's never beaten him.
Isn't that we've created the obstacle for the heel in this equation to overcome? like Roman is the one that you are rooting for to get this big win.
So in story, like Rollins is able to beat Reigns. Okay, so in ring he's not as good as him, but Reigns still remains number 1 in business, or at least like as a top draw or like a quarterback, or whatever that means in the fiction. And somehow Rollins is not satisfied enough to know that he could beat Reigns. Like,
so why are they wrestling? Like what does this match prove if beating him doesn't matter? And I'm number 2, no matter the fact I've always beaten you in all of these matches. So I'm going to beat you again, and somehow this is going to change.
I don't think I don't think the match matters.
I think a lot of these promos, like the goal of these is to get to a personal level where at the end of it, you can excuse a lot of it, but it's in the absence of believing like there's a real hatred here and there's a grudge that you want to see. And I think they've overthought this to such a degree and are just trying to get in these little cute lines. And I don't know, there's something about this pairing that has really not clicked for me since like this started, and each week I feel they've like gotten more and more in this hole for me.
I agree with you. Something about this whole story just does not feel like as I think like smooth and as like digestible as like even
the Cody and Punk, I have no doubt will be much more effective in doing a very similar like two guys wrestling to determine who's better than the other. That I have no doubt they will hit on this in a much more engaging way.
I don't think they've been able to land on like the sort of crux of like why they hate each other. I thought they introduced maybe a lot of reasons why. But John, this is the type of like promo, and you can argue this is the type of product that is made off of like just those individual, oh, he talked about Triple H, like, oh, he talked about like, I don't know, having to fake an injury. Like the crowd is not listening to consider whether or not this makes sense in totality. They're listening for these individual lines that they can react to, and they were really hot for the entire segment because of the star power here. So I think that's probably enough to be like, I don't know, like just to classify this as a successful segment, certainly more than last week's for Seth Rollins, because he got reaction here versus last week where he kind of struggled. And I think they will look at this, the producers of the show, as a success just because of how hot this crowd was just for the two of them.
Well, as they get to blows, Seth goes to strike Reigns, and he's asking, where's the bloodline now? I know who I am, you piece of shit. And he goes for the stomp, but is hit with a Superman punch. And as Reigns lifts him for a powerbomb, Seth strikes him with the microphone, hits a pedigree, and delivers the stomp to Roman.
Yeah. Physicality, I enjoyed, I thought all of that was very strong. So, like, I am looking forward to the match. I think the match will be strong, but I don't think it's been the best story.
Michael Cole summarized it perfectly as he went off the air, saying, we still have 3 weeks until SummerSlam.
Like, 3 weeks? Oh, my God. That's a lot. How many Roman appearances?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, well,
The contract's been signed. We can't do another one of these.
Is
it time for under one roof or face to face?
I already feel like they are kind of struggling to find material to explain why these two hate each other, because they've revolved around each other so much, and I feel like they've already introduced a lot of it, but I just like...
All I'm saying is the top 2 Raw programs, we have both come away with saying, like, we don't need to see any more segments before SummerSlam between this and Oba and Brock. So I think, like, they're... I don't know. It's
we need a car, like we need some sort of vehicular attack we need cops, fake cops,
We did that. That's off. Yeah. That's been checked off. Right. Well, fake cops. We didn't do real cops, did we? Roman is not listed for next week, at least on the event page. And let's look at the go home show. That's the Intuit Dome. I would think everyone's going to be on that show. Yeah, Roman and Brock are both on that go home show on the 27th. So no Brock and no Roman, at least as of now, listed for next Monday.
So this is now a program between the guy who's the part-timer, who doesn't work as hard and just, is there to collect bigger paychecks, versus the guy who is not a star, or at least not as big, will never be as big of a star as the other guy. So who do you want to cheer for, the part-timer or the guy who will never be a big enough star?
And it's injury prone.
Yes. Yeah. Again, like in a promo battle, in any wrestling feud, you have to stab, like you have to like poke holes at each person. Everybody has to take wounds. Does it leave enough for us to want to like cheer for either one? The
question is Seth. Like, your idea should be you're rooting for Seth in this whole thing, and I think he comes across as
rooting for him to do what exactly? Like, why would somebody want to see?
Like,
Seth
in theory, he's going for the championship. Like, you should be looking at this. Like, they should be convincing you that this means something by Seth regaining this title that he never lost because he got hurt. And the fact that he can finally beat Roman for the title, like, that should mean something. Like, just compare this to...
What do you mean finally beat Roman for the title? He's beat him for the title. Like, the cash in, I'm like, are there others? Yeah.
Well, yes, you had the first cash in. Like, that's the story they're selling here, is that he's going for Roman. He's going for Roman's title this time. It means more.
All right. Okay. All right.
And it's not there for me.
Okay. Yep.
Anyway. The end of Raw. Your thoughts, Wai?
It's hard to sum up like my thoughts on like the entirety of the show, because this is a variety show, and I think there are like peaks and valleys. But I thought it was an okay show with like no segments that really impressed that much. I thought the crowd were tremendous, and I think they helped elevate a lot of these segments. But like Brock Oba, I thought was pretty like generic, like Rent-A-Cop type of beatdown that to me didn't add any sort of interest. Main event segment came across really well, again, because of this crowd. But when you really kind of put it under a bit of a microscope, or when you really just kind of think about it, I do think there are a lot of issues with this particular program. Gauntlet I enjoyed. I thought, like, for Javon Evans, I thought it was
I like the Gauntlet show quite a bit. I thought that worked really well, especially the Javon portion, especially with Dragon Lee. I thought that worked really well.
Maxine and Vision, like, this was like her big sort of like, I guess, confirmation of a heel turn. And it turned out fine, but you're still kind of left with like the Vision, which are not that hot of a group right now. They're more so down to the level of like an Alpha Academy than something you take that seriously.
Wait till Big Bad Bronson's back. It's when the ship turns around. And Lyra
the highlight of the show.
Oh, yeah, the best.
Yeah, sure.
That was the highlight of the show. Well, everyone, the highlight of our show is going to all of your feedback, which is what we are going to be doing momentarily for those on the Post Wrestling Cafe with the XL edition of the show. And you can jump on board too. Not only get more of John and Wai after we do our reviews with the feedback, but also to catch the double shot coming out later this week, where we'll talk part 3 of Jeff Jarrett and the battle for TNA. We will have Rewind-A-Wai coming out this Thursday, covering WrestleMania 21, and then into the weekend we go. Saturday night's main event on Saturday, and Sunday, our next G1 show, where I will be joined by Karen Peterson to talk about Saturday and Sunday's tournament shows, including Gabe Kidd's first match of the tournament as well, and maybe the real portion of the G1 that everyone looks forward to. Zack Sabre Jr. begins his backstage interviews.
Oh, excellent. Busy week for you, John. You're doing you're certainly doing a show every single day. Well, Friday you might get some time, but I'm sure you will fill that with some project. But busy week for John Pollock as always.
I'm going to a concert this weekend.
Who? How are you going to find the time? When are you
there's nothing on Sunday. I don't know. We don't have anything on Sunday.
Okay.
Actually, no. I have to record a G1 show on Sunday, but this is Sunday night. So there's nothing Sunday night.
When are you going to the? Oh, so that's during the day on Sunday.
I'm going to record
do Saturday night's main event on Saturday. Somehow you're going to fit the G1 in and then record the G1 in the afternoon.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, and then concert for you at night.
That's the plan.
And at some point in there, you will find some time with your family. I'm sure.
Yes, that too. Well, I'm going to this concert with my wife, so there's that.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yes.
Well, what's the concert?
It's just a death cab show. It's for her birthday.
Oh, cool. Sweet.
Yes.
Nice. Awesome.
You want to come?
I'm okay.
Okay. That's it for us on the YouTube feed. We've shared too much. It's time to go, and we will continue.